Hey everyone, welcome back to Torment, Tides of Numenera. We are in the Bloom's Heart, and there's really nothing I can really say that explains how we got here, but we have to go and, I guess, talk to the Bloom right now and see if we can't find somebody, but first I'm going to heal up. Really need to sell a lot of this stuff so I can actually find what I'm looking for. Let's see, speed, no. Heal. Can heal speed, can heal might. I still haven't used that thing. Can heal intellect, this is what we want. Can heal 3 points of intellect. We are down 7, so let's heal 6. And we have, we're still rested. Alright, okay, let's see what we're going to do here. Choose an ally. Why do I choose an ally?
Alright.
I don't know. Okay, so here we go. Oh, we're trying to figure out who to heal. So here we go.
Yes.
Up. Ahead you see a mass of bloom tongues bigger than any you've encountered thus far. They wave gently, as if beckoning you forward. Your companions hesitate, looking to you. Do you have any insight, Allegard? He laughs. You're asking for my advice now? I think you should have abandoned this foolish quest before it started. He sighs, his face softens, his tone becomes serious. Don't underestimate it, Castoff. It is more powerful than you by a long shot, and there are fates to be feared more than death. Whatever I think of him, I wouldn't wish my fate on anyone. How about Makina? That thing has destroyed the lives of more people than you have ever met. It's a predator. Whatever you do, stay in control. Resist it, show it you're strong, otherwise it will swallow you whole. It'll probably swallow him whole anyway, but, well, he's come this far. What are you thinking, Eridus? Thinking? Nothing. But this is the greatest adventure a hero has ever invented, isn't it? Do I want anybody to go with me? Stay here, I'm going in. Whatever happens, I don't want it to eat them too. Although I guess Makina's a Castoff too, so... Okay. Yuck. Before you looms a twisted mass of tombs, arteries, roots, and tongues, heaving and pulsing in the murky light. The flesh glimmers with foul shades of purple and black, pocked with pustules and necrosis. Bloom whispers gather, swarming over you like flies. Buzzing and chittering and hissing, millions of them. All the voices that comprise the Bloom's mind are converging in this one place. As you step closer, bloom tongues surround you, drawing you into a wet, nauseating embrace. Though they seem solid and corporeal, they somehow pass through your flesh, thrusting into your head, your limbs, and your guts, igniting prickly, hot, cold sensations all over your body. A multitude of bloom voices hiss and babble with rage. You cannot understand their words, but their meaning is clear. You don't belong here. The voices invade your mind, sweeping aside your thoughts, establishing themselves within. Let's resist the Bloom's voices. I'm glad we healed this up, because I have a feeling we're gonna need everything we got here. Let's go for 70%. There we go. Reflexively, you let go of everything, focusing on a single mode of knowledge that the voices cannot take away. I am here, this thought is mine. The Bloom voices fade into a meaningless babble as you repeat the words to yourself, and you realize that the voices are powerless to stop you. They can devour your memories or cause you pain, but they can't snuff out your conscious mind. With this realization comes strength, and you repeat the words again. They cut through the cacophony of the Bloom voices. These thoughts are mine. Get out. Now your inner voice drowns out theirs. The Bloom whispers turn into hisses of frustration, and they flee, shrieking in rage. Voices become more distant. They whisper and buzz to each other, barely audible, like a vast conclave that is locked away behind a heavy door. You find that you can move again, albeit slowly and awkwardly, constrained by the wriggling tongues that have merged with your flesh. Let us... We can infiltrate the Bloom's mind. Let's try that. I already used up half of our intellect. Critical success. Stat pools spent on your effort restored. Excellent. Slowly, carefully, you extend your thoughts into the tubes and the conduits of the heart, gently testing your ability to contract a muscle here or widen an artery there. You can hear the bloom voices all around you, but they don't seem alarmed. Either they don't sense you at all or they don't perceive your intrusion as a threat. As you explore the limits of your new perceptions, you begin to understand the heart's composition. The fleshy nodules that serve as sensory organs, the new tubes and arteries to feed the intelligence that dwells here, the roots of innumerable whispering minds that descend to this spot from every corner of the bloom, tangling together to join their voices into a mad, chaotic union. Okay, let's find Ishin, since he is actually the person we're here for. Yay. While your thoughts are joined to the blooms, you can almost understand its voices. A whisper will spark a fleeting image in your mind's eye. A hiss will elicit a flash of anger, or a desire, or some alien emotion you can't even comprehend. As you listen and watch, you see occasional images of a vague human figure. When you focus on them, you try to hold them still. You see an isolated pocket of flesh, a cyst filled with thick black juices in which the man floats curled up like a fetus. The cyst is wrapped carefully in fleshy tendrils and knotted muscles, watched closely by tiny chittering minds that are spawned for exactly this purpose. Okay, let's take control of it. And free him. Whew. Moving slowly and cautiously, you follow the faint whispers to the tiny chittering minds that watch over Ishin. They're not far from the heart centered around a foul little cyst, just as you suspected. When they sense your approach, they squeal in alarm, but you overwhelm and silence them. You sense the remains of a trans-dimensional rift in the cyst, probably the same rift the bloom used to capture Ishin in the first place. It should be possible to reopen the rift and set him free, but the bloom will know when you do. Yep, set him free. You whisper softly to the wrist, and it begins to take shape. Ishin stirs, and the knotted muscles that surround the cyst tremble with alarm. Thousands of chittering voices hiss and rage. Alerted to your ploy, they rock the cyst to and fro, causing the rift to unravel again. At once, bloom voices rise all around you, shrieking and chittering, trying to cast you out from its mind. Resist. I've got almost nothing left. Resilient. Dang it. The bloom's innumerable voices swarm over you, and you can't hold firm against them. You're cast back into your own body, losing whatever tenuous grip you established on the heart and its systems. The bloom voices burrow deep into your hidden memories. This time they seem to understand the pattern, the secret arrangement to your sire's recollections. Moments from the changing gods past flash across your mind's eye, too quick to comprehend. Finally a memory surfaces, and the voices go quiet. This is what they've been seeking. You stand with a woman upon a circle of gold, the sky clear and blue above you, Mila Vest. The woman is well known to you, the same woman who helped you choose this spot years before, the same woman who built this enclave with you together. Her face is changed, ravaged by time. The flesh is rotting away, exposing the glistening muscles beneath. She turns away from you as if to hide her ugliness. Not even your handiwork is proof against time. No, Marilel, you say, I have no way of fixing you, but you need not live in shame. You present her with a mask, its expression enigmatic, decorated with intricate patterns of gold. A pretty thing, she says, unable to hide the bitterness in her voice. I can just as well wrap my face in bandages, or cover my head with a sack. Put it on. Your voice is insistent. There is something more to the mask. She hears it in your voice. She raises your gift to her face. As she does, the memory ends, cut off abruptly by a chorus of shrieks from the bloom. They chitter at you, the purpose of their enigmatic as Marilel's mask. I'm here from Ishin, nothing more. The bloom voices chitter and click, sounding close, gathered around you like a pack of beasts. You sense hunger from them. They know what brought you here. In return, they want more memories from you, similar to the one they just took. Let's see. Fine, take more memories. Hissing and babbling, the voices pour into your head, tearing through your memories. Scenes play out before your eyes. Your sire meeting Marilel for the first time since he cast off her body. Your sire and Marilel as they recline upon the grasses of Mila Vest, taking and debating into the night, your sire facing Marilel across the field of the endless battle, screaming at his soldiers to catch her, kill her. Ravenous, the voices devour every memory of Marilel that is hidden in your mind. You groan as the memories are shredded and consumed, knowing that this excision will diminish your ability to think and reason and remember, and we permanently lose 1 intellect pool. Wow, I've spent 12 of 13 intellect points, and I still didn't get the successful... Well, whatever. Suddenly it's over. You hear a sudden burst of whispers all around you, and the air in the chamber ripples. At once, a trans-dimensional rift tears itself into being, and a human figure topples out, dripping black juices, coughing and gagging, vomiting on the floor. You recognize the man at once. It's Mazoff, the Castoff artificer you met in Zarian's Daywalker mirror. Your first thought is that the bloom has somehow released the wrong man, but no, the Mimavira deceived you. Ishin is Mazoff. For the moment, Mazoff is recovering from his ordeal, barely aware of his surroundings. He hasn't even seen you yet. Try to reassure him. You try to call out to Mazoff, but can't find the words. Fragments of memories drift in and out of your consciousness as the bloom digests them. An unfinished memory of Mila Vest bubbles to the surface, playing out in mind's eye. You're facing Marilel, the first Castoff, as she holds the mask you gave her. Put it on, you hear yourself say, and she places the mask over her face. At once it melds with her flesh, and her face becomes that of a lovely young woman. Her eyes widen, knowing that something has changed, and you hold up a looking glass for her to see. She laughs aloud, a sound you haven't heard from her in years. You can change your face at will, you say to her. Try it. Marilel nods, watching the looking glass carefully as her face morphs into that of an old woman, then a homely beggar lady, then a Vargellan, and a dozen more. The last face you see is dark-haired, regal in bearing. It is the face of the Mimavira. Accompanied by a distinct sense of hunger from the bloom, the memory fades. The implication is clear. The Mimavira is merely a disguise, a mask that conceals the first Castoff. She has been alive, hiding behind a false identity for years. Even as you contemplate this revelation, the bloom tongues slide painlessly out of your body, setting you free. They show no further interest in you, and the whispering voices are gone from your mind. Oh, thank God. Mazoff rises, clutching himself, and he abruptly vomits a cloud of black fluid onto the glistening flesh beneath his feet. Small red wounds mar the flesh between the wires crisscrossing his skin. Gods, he growls, gods. He looks up at you, his mechanical eye sockets spin, wheels within wheels, focusing on your face. You're the Castoff that was riding Zarian Daywalker. What the hell are you doing down here? You recognize me? Muscle movements, small variations on expression, as good as a signature for those who know what to look for. He coughs more of the black fluid against the back of his wrist. You didn't answer me? What are you doing down here? I thought I was rescuing someone named Ishin, but you were here instead. Yeah, that's me. It's a nickname, short for Ishin ZR, because I look like one. Whatever it is, but no one calls me that except the first sent you, didn't she? Not surprised. She won't be getting the resonance chamber working on her own. It's all too easy to destroy the damn thing if you don't know what you're doing. Something about the words said in his voice stirs a memory in you. Resonance chamber, the sensation builds. He winces, teeth clenched. Gods. The bloom is a terrible host. Stuck its damn tongues into my guts to force feed me, filled my lungs with bile. Not sure what you did to get me out, but thank you. He spits black-tinged wad of phlegm over his shoulder. Well, how do we get out of here? She's waiting, and you know how she is. I don't know, actually. I thought I was working for the Mimavira until a few minutes ago. Skist. Look, don't tell her I said anything. I don't need anyone shouting at me right now, let alone her. This is the worst headache I've ever had. But a headache is uncoiling through your head now as well. Alarm spreads over Mazoff's face, and he reaches out to catch you as you topple forward. You're underwater. The fading pulse of a sonar alarm ripples through the water and then is gone. An invisible pressure crushes your body, squeezing your head. A Gibra with a Castoff's tattoo rises from the dark to confront you. I should have known. You need something of ours to finish your resonance chamber, don't you, Father? You haven't learned anything. You would sacrifice all of us for a chance of survival. You and the First. Pride blinds you both. You're wrong, Thom. I built the resonance chamber to save us all. It has the power to weaken the sorrow. I can kill the creature. Will you apologize to me then, selfish child? Will you beg my forgiveness?
I'll remember that.
You lie, you always have, Thom says calmly. Although your motives differ, Marilel's plan and yours will result in the same end, the destruction of every Last Castoff. I will not allow this to happen. Makes a complicated gesture with his fingers, and the pressure on your head increases. Huh. You alright? Mazzoff, what is the first plan with the chamber? To sever he gives you an odd look. You know, maybe you should ask her. I don't know enough about what's going on here. Just know that it'll free us from the sorrow without sucking us all into someone's mind. That should be good enough. She can't do it without me, though. I best be getting back. Patting you awkwardly on the shoulder, he limps past you into the portal and vanishes. It is only when he's gone that you see the glittering contours of a small object lying where he was standing. A mirror caster that must have fallen from his pockets. You wipe the slime from the joints of the machine and add it to your belongings. Well, I'll tell you what, since we are going to spend the episode in other people's minds anyway, let's go ahead and do both of the mirror casters. So first of all, okay, let's see. There was a mirror caster. Wow, this game needs a search option. This guy? There we go. As soon as you place this device in the palm of your hand, the stately dance of the clockwork planets mounted upon it becomes frantic spinning reel. In the heart of the thing, a contemplative hum grows, as if the machine itself were studying the path of the planets above it. Listening, you hear the shadow of words within the sound, speaking of the mirror within the device. So let's enter it. Blue. Once you had 24 words for all of its hues and shades, metaphors to Glaive's capes and Curtison's eyes, but now the sky is just blue. The ground is stone. The man before you, fat. Now all is vague and drab, like the memorialist sees you've stopped, and he halts as well. Let's have a rest then, he says, passing you a bottle of fortified water as he catches his breath. You knew a word for that too. This drink they brew in the Valley of the Dead Heroes, gone. We aren't far from a cenotaph. The fat man wipes his brow. Deep in your pockets, your hand feels for the round 10 that holds the worms. Your fingers clutch it tight, and as they do, they brush a piece of paper. Are you a shadow? Kalagat Anvor, I mean, the one you came to see? We thought that he'd cast the shadows from his own kind. We reasoned that with the Tabat gone, his line was lost forever. But shadows fall where they will, as they will. Shall we continue, Pilgrim? One more short hike will do it. Examine the 10 in your pocket. The 10 is old and unremarkable, scuffed and dented but sturdy enough it opens easily. Inside is a clump of bristly worms, blind and thin, barely moving. Your fingers itch and tremble, your nostrils flare. You no longer know their name, but you know exactly how to use them. Careful not to spill the precious contents, you close the 10 and slide it back into your pocket. What? We live in the world of darkness, Pilgrim, and each of us is just a shadow of one of the great heroes buried here in the valley. But there's a light that shines behind the world. To know it, we shadows must measure ourselves against the heroes who cast it, and thus learn the light that lives beyond. I thought you set out on this pilgrimage to visit the tomb of Kalagat Anvor because you were his shadow, that you wanted to stand before him to find enlightenment. Am I wrong? Are you his shadow or not? Yeah, I am. It is a rare honor to join shadow and hero, and a joy for those of us who shepherd pilgrims through the valley. Just over that rises the monument. As for his tomb, you said that the cenotaph would leave the way. I can't see it now, but for the simple puzzle breaker of Sage's Cliffs, I'm sure it will be simple. Let's go. Let's see, as you follow the memorialist up the crumbling path, he carries on about a time when all the roads in the valley were as well paved as the streets of Sage's Cliff. Then reaching the hill crest, he falls into reverential silence. When you catch up, you see the sight that awed him even for the 1000th time, a clutch of exquisite monuments ranging from vast to miniature, from abstract to eerily lifelike. The memorialist points to one of them, a many-sided slab of black stone, and gestures for you to follow. Okay. Of course, Caligat Anvor isn't here. Like the other heroes, his body's in one of the cells in the catacombs beneath us. This is its own sort of shadow. All memorials are. Let's study the glyphs. What seemed at first individual glyphs are far more complex, smaller symbols assembled into larger patterns, linked into chains, twined and twisted into knots. Never a tangle or ramble. It is more a mathematical or scientific notation than language. Running your fingers across the glyphs, you see that they shine briefly under your touch, then fade. Perhaps there's a formula here to be solved. Okay. Study the basin. Okay, so we recognize the symbol blood. Of course, it could be something else. Examine the images. A graffito from just after the Tabat were beaten, carved with a plasma torch by a bitter nano. The visual pun on Black 3 must be obvious. Sadly, we can't possibly fix the damage. Okay, try to find the correct sequence. You trick yourself into thinking that you can crack whatever code the stone holds, but neither logic nor luck makes any headway. Snort a worm. Let's see. They're nematodes, that's what they're called, not worms. And a cerulean, that's the sky color, not blue. The rush of understanding overwhelms you. You read the world's unwritten words, devise stratagems, and unravel mysteries. The meaning is here, tangled amid the knotted glyphs, and your mind is unraveling it surely, but not fast enough. Your thoughts become painfully, shamefully slow, and the puzzle you felt so close to breaking now seems impregnable. Another worm, just one more, and your mind, honed like a sword, will slice through its skeins. You're sure of it, so sure of it you find yourself sniffing in anticipation a predator on the scent. Another worm. It's a prayer woven in the story, a prayer of submission to the truth of war and blood and death. You need but touch the glyphs and the way will open. Skein ends in war, his tomb. Step through the portal. May you find enlightenment beside your hero, pilgrim. Okay, let's examine. Let's see. I will want the worms, but I will be strong. I will wonder what I've lost, but they will only rob me further. Oh, whoops. Should have read this first. I will endure, and I will build the tower of my intellect anew. Caligat Anvor will furnish the material. The mind link, not the worms, will be my tool, the mind link. Let's see. Now it is slung from your belt, a hideous mask with a synth tube hanging off of it. Oops. Let's see. War and death. Let's open it. A few twists of the coffin's cylindrical locks, and the lid rises up with a hiss of icy, age-old air. The mist clears, and you see at last the face of Caligat Anvor. You feel nothing at the sight of him, never having known the terror of his triumvirate. His inhuman features are slightly mummified but well preserved. His ebon tabard is faded with time that even the sarcophagus could not keep at bay. So let's use the mind link. So you are not the underspine. You will not take my thoughts. Mount your own attack. You came here to hone your mind, and perhaps this is the way to do so. Whatever weapons your mind once wielded have long since been worn blunt by the worms, and what remains cannot be any match against the will of Caligat Anvor. In the end, it all means nothing. Okay. Well, that was interesting. Sort of. Okay, let's read the other one. And let's go ahead and heal up a little bit of our intellect. Just on the off chance we have to use it. And let's go ahead and use Mazov's Mirrorcaster. It is hot to the touch. You feel the click and whirl of countless mechanisms moving beneath your hands. Let's inspect it. And let's enter it. As your consciousness coalesces, you find yourself in an underground bunker which is shaking from an attack from far above. You stand mid-salute in front of a Castoff encased in an articulated metal carapace. He's so skeletal you doubt you can move without it. You remember his name is Lovac, Padge Reckon's second in command in the endless battle. 3 advisors sit behind him. Lovac shakes his synth-encased head and addresses you. Don't worry about the message, Betrayal. It's been rendered moot. We're just lucky that Commander Reckon made it out of Mila Vesta alive. She missed the destruction of the sanctuary by moments. A thunderous explosion rocks the bunker, sending everyone staggering. As you can see, we have troubles of our own. The changing god's latest ploy is paralyze the Reconciler of Truth. Of course, Heaven's Rejoinder remains functioning, which means we cannot reverse the successes while they can reverse ours. We are in more danger now of losing this war since the first died. I'm afraid we must send you out again, Betrayal. We must save the Reconciler. I am ready to serve. Excellent, friends. What are your suggestions? How do we undo what has been done to the Reconciler without using the Reconciler? I recommend an all-out assault on the position of Heaven's Rejoinder. This will of course fail, but it will give us cover for Betrayal to slip through the paths of the white nests and reach the Rejoinder from behind. There she can reset it and then destroy it. Then we will be the only side who can change history. I suggest Betrayal can find the reality storm that ravages no man's land to find the Reconciler's saboteur. If she can navigate the shifting shards, she can stop the saboteur before he reaches it. This will only return us to the status quo, of course, but it'll be easier for Betrayal to deal with one man than the deadly white nests. Any other suggestions? Asked Lovac. I approve of either path. As it will be you who faces the challenges, I leave it to you which you will choose. What do you say? Okay. Okay, so we can either let them assault, have an army assault, and then try to do whatever it is they're trying to do, or we can do the sneaky way. Let's do this one seems like it's going to have fewer casualties, so let's do this one. I will find the saboteur before he breaks the Reconciler, no matter what time or reality he is in. Any objections? I approve, says the Castoff with 2 mouths. It can be done quickly and the risk is low. And if Betrayal is lost, says the Castoff in red armor, we can try the assault I suggested with someone else running through the white nests. Very well. Betrayal, these are the gloves of the saboteur. You'll use these. They're sent in the tides to navigate the shards and find your man. There, somewhere, is your path. Use your instincts to hunt this villain down, but take care. Too many jumps and you will enter realities where the storm is fading and the shards are closing. You could be trapped in a distant reality with no way back. Let's try the Storm of Swirling Chaos. Insects swarm around you in great clouds, their buzzing becoming an inhuman howl. Then you notice they are not insects, but tiny constructs. They are also not interested in you, though they bump into you, and blah blah blah. But find only one matches the scent of your gloves, the one you just came from. You step back into the reality you know and face your choices again. Okay, Moonlit Lake. Huh. Okay, let's go to the Sunny Canyon. Okay, 3 shards feel promising. A dense forest at night, rolling farmland in the setting sun, and a muddy battlefield in the rain. Let's do the muddy battlefield. Chalcedon's soldiers are leading away Podge's surviving troops. Okay. Hurry towards them. 3 seem better than the others. Glimmering Swamp, giant bonfires are a frantic battle. Oh. Okay, so there's a chaotic battle. Every single soldier on both sides looks just like you. Okay, so that wasn't the place to go, so let's do giant bonfires. Glittering Swamp. Okay, so we're just hopping through different dimensions until we find the right one. Roaring Arenas. Go gods, go cast-offs. Let me battlefield. Oh, here we go. We find the Reconciler. You see none of the guards who usually protect it, nor the walls or doors that shield it. In fact, this isn't in the chamber at all. You circle it and find, crouching by the far side of it, a wiry man in dark armor. Focused on cutting through the metal skin, you recognize him as Zeroth, one of the Chalcedon's wiliest operatives, whom Barakal has tangled with more than once before. As you creep up on him, he whips around, alarmed. He throws his hands in front of him, pleading. "Bruna," he gasps. "Wait, hear me out. I have information you need to know." Tell me. You know that the Sorrow has destroyed Mila Vest, yes? We know it was your commander, Paj Reckon, who dropped the compound's shields and allowed it to enter. This is why she was there, and how she escaped in time. Mila Vest has always been a place of peace. Paj broke the truce. So many of her brothers and sisters dead, more than ever died in this foolish war. I know you to be an honorable opponent, Bruno, but your leader is savage and insane. If you care for the future of the Castoffs, go back to her and confront her. Stop her from killing any more of us. Go and I will consider it otherwise. You think I'm going to fight Barakal, the living blade? I'm no fool. He bows and steps away from the Reconciler, then turns and dives through the reality shard and is gone. As he leaves, the bubble around the machine fades and it returns to its proper place in time. You turn to the shards to do the same. Success, my friend. Whatever you did, the Reconciler is operational once again, and we have recovered our recent losses. I have told Paj Reckon of your heroism, and she wants to thank you personally. Go to her now. She's in the Bloom meeting with the Memavira. I believe she has more work for you there. Zeronoth told me Commander Reckon was the one to turn off Milovest's shields. Lies, most likely, meant to turn you against our commander. Would not speak this foolishness to her when you go see her. Okay, I'll go. Thank you. My regards to the commander. If the Sorrow is strong enough to enter Mila Vest, then it's our primary enemy. We must either finish the Changing God quickly or unite with him to destroy it. You recognize... Okay, the Memavira says, you have it reversed, sister. We will use the Sorrow to destroy the Changing God. All we must do is turn it his way. Paj groans. And I'm going to take this message to the survivors, that they should let the monster which killed us walk free, hoping that it will strike our enemy first. Why don't you tell them, sister? Why not reveal yourself at last? It isn't time. Who is this? Ah, Barakal, the loyal blade you asked me to send for, and it seems she has already learned your secret. Then she had better be a loyal indeed, Entrady says. Barakal, may I present the first, our brave leader. She is so brave, she's hidden behind my skirts for over 100 years. Enough, Paj, snaps the first. I asked Commander Reckon to bring me her best, for in the coming days I will have need of an agent who will act without flinching, no matter what the order. Is that you, Barakal Bruna? Are you willing to do anything to stop the Changing God? Paj, Zeronoth told me that the Sorrow did not break through Milovest's shields. He claimed the shields were lowered on purpose by you.
Updated my journal.
Ha. He lies. Marilel sent me to await the arrival of the Changing God's last child. The Sorrow did not attack the compound until I had returned and reported. Paj looks at the first, suspicion dawning. I told you the last child was in the compound, and then the Sorrow attacked it. Sister, please tell me these two events are not related, please. The child has to be killed, says the first. I know of no better way to do it. Paj stares at her. You let them die, our siblings? Adaris? Not all, says the first. To save the vast majority of our siblings, I was forced to risk the deaths of a few at the compound. Wasted, the child escaped. It was worth the risk. Perhaps, but you could have told me. You could have let me warn Adiris. The others are loyal to us. I could not. Anyone you warned might have warned the child. It was impossible. Then you should have ordered me to bring Adiris here. I don't know why. Or I didn't have to know why. Any pretense would have done. Instead, you allowed Adiris. Adiris was a mother to us all. Too kind-hearted for the coming conflict. You let her die deliberately. A leader's decisions are never easy. You should know that by now. So Barakal, now that you know all my secrets, will you still serve? Will you see our war for survival to its conclusion, or will you turn from the inevitable out of foolish sentiment? No. You're a traitor to the Castoffs. You must die. Take her alive, shouts the image. I want to know who put her up to this treachery. A dozen hidden guards step into view and fire at you with sonic bludgeons that knock you to the floor. Barakal, you poor heroic fool. There would have been a time for this, but this was not it. This was not it. Okay, honestly, part of the reason that I did that was if this Barakal is such a badass fighter, I kind of don't want her to be on the side of the Mimavira when I go in. So the Mimavira tried to kill me. Or the Last Castoff. So would rather not have her have a badass warrior on her side. Okay, so go through portal. Okay, so the whole thing at Mila Vest was the Mimavira, or the first, trying to kill me, the Last Castoff. That doesn't bode well for our next meeting with her. Okay. And here we are back in the courtyard. Okay, first things first, we're gonna rest. Because I need points back. Let's sleep.
Oh, I can breathe again.
Yeah. So, we found out that we were betrayed by the Mimavira / the First, and but the First has Mazov, who knows how to fix the resonance chamber, which is kind of the key to all of this. So, seems like next time we will be going to the Mimavira's fortress and confronting her with what we know. That probably won't end well. So, that'll be for next time. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you soon. Take care.